So at the very end, I talked about money, and then what happened?
Everybody panicked.
Everybody panicked, right? But just to let you know that I'm looking out for everybody here. And last night, because this is why I know I'm going the right direction with this. Because last night I met with a lady who can get me in touch with people that will give me a grant for this project. You know what a grant is? Yes. So how we shape it is in two ways. Number one is that it's for youth. Number one is that it's going to be probably a majority women, right? Because that's who show up. And the other part of it is that we are going to help you build skills that you can be competitive on the international market. Doesn't that sound like we just talked about? So that's good. That's great. I mean, then that way we don't have to mess around with all these fees. We don't have to mess around with all this stuff. I meet with her on the 23rd. We'll have, my son and I will put together a business plan and we'll approach her. Good news, isn't it? What's interesting is that how come nobody else knew about it? Right? How come nobody else knew about that? I just thought it was, I said, wow, I mean, there's free money here for somebody that's going to do a program, but no one's come forward to do a program. So, anyway, I'm glad I was the first. Because we'll scoop that money up and make this work, won't we? Okay, we're going to talk about logistics a little bit. The website is up. You tell me how you want me to present you. Okay, you've seen enough sites, you've seen LinkedIn, you've seen all this. How do you want me to present you?
Professionally.
Professionally, very good. What else?
Effectively.
What's that?
Effectively.
Effectively, that's the other word. Because one thing that I think is missing between all the talk and everything is what is effective, what is going to be useful, and what is going to get you to where you want to go with the least amount of effort. Do you want to get to where you want to go in 5 years? Do you want to get to where you want to go in a year? Yeah.
Well, speaking like a product designer, it's important to show your work. Like, I don't know about the engineers, but like when we are approaching someone to get a new job, we have to show our works, meaning photos of the products, or renderings, all this kind of stuff. So it's your work that you need to show. But I can only speak from my profession. I don't know if you need to show the...
Very good. So your portfolio, okay? Yeah. So I noticed on some of your profiles it's that you use like these little different sites to post your portfolio. What? Right. There's ways to do that. So we could actually have that as a link. Instead of filling up the whole page, they can just go to the link and see your stuff. Okay, now that's a very good suggestion. Did you write that down?
Yeah,
I gotta pay her extra for this. Go ahead.
I think it's better to have some, at least small preview than to go to link.
Before the link. Maybe.
Before the
link. Okay. See, all these, she's going to be working herself to death. She's going to want me to buy her dinner or something. So anyway, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody here so everybody knows who you are and what you do and why you're here?
In a second.
Okay, we'll wait.
Sorry. Yeah, oh, okay. I'm Ljubica. Hi. I'm an architect, but lately I've been working as a journalist. So that's why I'm writing things down.
Very good. That's right. So now keep going. Keep going.
Good one.
Keep going. What we talked about last night. Keep going. Go to the next part. I'm an architect, but I'm also a journalist, and I'm here for.
I'm here to, well, hopefully promote this whole idea through some printed or online mediums, to write some articles or presentation to present this to public.
So, who's going to buy her a drink after this?
Everyone. You get a job, we're going to pay her dinner.
That's
you get
right.
a job.
That's right.
From this.
No, just
Okay. So now, but you see, I mean, I look at road signs, how I'm going forward with things. And to me, I'm getting all the signs in front of me that I'm going the right direction. Okay, one of the things that happened is that I was able to get the money to do this, to come. It just showed up. I asked for it and it showed up. Amazing.
Can we ask
Uh-huh.
where the money came from?
For me,
No, that money that you got, the grant,
where the money comes from, the U.S.
yes.
Yeah. It's here to promote exactly what we're doing. I didn't want to use the U word, but yeah, there you go. Okay, it's all from the place that you worked on, by the way. Okay? You know something? I do not care if we have to get it from a frog. We'll get the money. All right? Okay, but I'm at the airport. I got to tell you a story. I'm at the airport. I'm sitting at my thing. I'm in Istanbul. I'm sitting there waiting for my flight. Next thing you know, this lady's got her water bottle. And she's hitting me with it. Hey, you! Open this up. She couldn't open her water bottle. So I said, oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Just stop hitting me with it, okay? I'll be more than happy. I open it and I start talking to her. She's from Serbia, 94 years old. You see how the Serbians are, you know. 94 years old, went to the United States by herself to visit her family. Her son-in-law and her daughter both work in the U.S. as electrical engineers. She comes back, she's on her way back, and she says, what are you doing here? Why do you want to go to Serbia? I told her what I was doing. She goes, well, did you know that I was a professor of electrical engineering there for 40 years? There was my first sign that I was going the right direction. Because she told me everything. This is what's wrong with Serbia. This is what's wrong with the world, right? I mean, they do that. She's seen a lot. She says, you know, you've got your work cut out for you. I said, I'm sure I do. She said, because all the kids want to do is get a degree and leave. Is that true? How many kids want to leave? Right? I mean, honest. I mean, you want me to help you leave? This is very important. We can gear this up to get you out of here, or we can gear it up to have you stay.
If it's going to be as good as for us to go abroad and work, if it's going to be as good to stay here and work here, then I would stay.
We love the journalists,
How
don't
many
we?
of you have been abroad living and working?
No one.
What? Yeah. Because it's not much different.
It's not much different. I mean, I've been working out of the, I mean, I've only been home maybe less than a year in the last 12.
You've been traveling, moving?
Oh, well, working. You know, if you start working in Saudi Arabia, what they say is that they'll let you go home every 6 months. That is a big fat lie. Because all of a sudden they change everything and they say, well, you can go, but you can only go for 3 days. You can have to do it on a weekend. Yeah, and how are you going to get all the way? Yeah, so. And then they say they're not, then they change their mind, or they do it all the time. Then they say they're not going to pay it. Oh yeah, we're not going to pay for your flight, and we are going to pull your visa, so you have to get a new visa to get back in. So do you want to go home? The answer is probably no.
But that's not the thing. I mean, that's just one aspect of working abroad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always like that.
No, it's
For
not.
me, I would like to go, if I'm leaving this country, I would like to go and work somewhere where I will have a life and just stay there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not to have to travel around and work 3 years here, 3 years there. I mean, I had that opportunity with an embassy to go to Moscow and then to Oslo, and I didn't want that. It was good money, it was good opportunity, as a good experience, but it's not life.
That's not.
And I would like to, if I'm leaving, I would like to go and have a life.
Okay. So guess what?
You're building life for yourself. Nobody can give you
3
life
years
there.
here,
yeah,
3 years
nobody.
there. It's life? Really?
For someone.
You
For
can build.
someone.
Yeah, you
For
can build
someone.
your life there.
Unless you're, I don't know.
Why not? Why not? I didn't go out from Serbia since my 33 years. Now I'm out and I cannot. I said that.
How long are you planning to do that?
I never will come back in Serbia just for vacation. I always will come for
No,
vacation.
you don't have to come back to Serbia, but you have to settle down somewhere. You cannot do that
Okay,
work forever.
how many people they are living like 4 years in Greece, 5 years. Especially the people who is coming from US, we don't know too much about it. And UK, this the young people now is coming and work like waiters. Now you can see in Dubai the two type of waiter. One type Indians, because they pay for them nothing. Another type you can see young British people who is coming there to, you know, why they come.
19, you know?
Yeah, but I think
They're
that's
not
really
gonna be
personal
racist.
question, and actually
That's
you
what
don't
I-
need to discuss this. Everybody has the right. You
Tell
want
you
to settle, he doesn't
Chelsea,
want. It's
about,
like
okay,
normal. I mean,
now
everybody is choosing by
this is
themselves.
good for you, this is your opinion and that's true. And maybe somebody likes something else. We are
Yeah.
talking just like this, you know.
Okay,
I'm
what,
just saying that
There's
there's
the problem
two
tonight.
types of going abroad and working abroad. So.
You know, but
okay, so now I want you to listen to something. We just talked about this a few minutes ago when I was going over that nice lady's profile. How many jobs does she have? She had 9 jobs in 12 years. You work yourself out of a job. So if you think you're going to go somewhere and make a life, after your project's over, what makes you think it's going to stay?
Well,
What-
that's the thing. I don't want to be employed by contract or by just some job or work myself out of a job. I don't want that.
Who can
It's up to
promise
you.
you that you will not get
It's
resigned
up to
or
you.
whatever? It's you can't be so certain about anything
Yes, of course.
in that sense.
If
But,
I'm,
but the thing, I think what she's saying, if I can step in here, is that that would be your dream.
yes,
that
something
would-
that I would. Okay, I can do those kind of jobs for next 5 or 10 years, but it's not something that I would like to do for the rest of my life.
okay, this is your choice. About that I told you. Okay, you can start. You have the,
Adigo.
your vision. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And after 3 years, if you don't like it,
Yeah.
it's, you know, for example, now you're going, he is in Dubai, I'm in Dubai now, and I am planning to go to move to Miami. Miami is my dream
So
city.
you're planning to.
Yeah, I want to
So
move,
this is just like.
of course.
a
And
tool.
maybe when I reach the Miami, I see something. Oh, not, I don't like it. Never mind. Like
But you have something
maybe,
that you
yeah.
want to do.
But the thing is, you know, we're not trees.
Exactly.
We're not trees. If you, I mean, to me, a life experience is the best thing in the world, and I think you hit it right on the head. Is that when you go out of the country, it's glamorous for about the first 6 months, and then it turns into a job and work, and you do the same grind that you do here, but just in a different country. But you're away from your family. That's the biggest part, is that you're away. Now, how many here have aging parents? Okay. So is it kind of hard to leave when you don't know how mom and dad are going to do? Right? Is that hard to leave when you don't know how mom and dad are going to do?
Yes.
See, I mean, I went home for, gosh, I think, like 3 months when my dad got sick. When my dad passed away, I went back out here. Now, when my mom dies, I probably won't go back. It's not that I don't love her, but it's a different situation. It's a different scenario, right? But the thing is that, you know, what's going to keep you here and what isn't going to keep you here. And you told me right over here, that you hit it right on the head. If I can have the lifestyle here that I would have overseas, then I would stay.
That's
Right.
the best case scenario.
That's the best case scenario. So dream number 1. Dream number 2 is that you do go out of the country. You know something? There's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm a prime example. There's nothing wrong with working overseas, but it's risky. Right? I learned, I think, what did I say? I learned how to say, don't shoot me, I'm an American, in like 5 different languages. Right?
Don't say you're American.
Yeah, you're right. Don't say that I'm, but the thing is that it's exciting and glamorous. I'm 56 years old. Now that exciting and glamorous now isn't so bright and cheery anymore, because, you know, like in Dubai is ugly. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, they got beautiful buildings, but if you took away the buildings, it's just sand. And it's dusty.
And still under construction.
And still, yeah, and
Nothing
everything's
will work
torn.
there.
And
And
everything's
everybody
all torn
coming
up.
there, you know, like, and time to time, you just feel like part of this grow up, and you see how you're going. Like, when you're born in your country, it's the same.
So here's Dubai, right? Let's see if you'll agree with me. One thing about Dubai is that they think that they think they're so above everybody. I went and I got a business card for some building. You know, the big, you know, they had that display right down there in the square, right? I get this business card. And the guy, you know, I said, okay, well, here's my stuff. Go ahead and send me something. It was 3 lines of what the building was. This much of the email was all, this is where you put your credit card in, this because this is the privilege about living in Dubai, to be able to even put in an offer on one of the condos. They want $100,000 in cash just to put an offer in that you'll never see again, because they think they're all right. They think they're all that. It's an expensive place to live. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I mean, I'm only there. I'm there just it's because it's a great transitional period. I can leave, getting in and out of the country easy. In Saudi Arabia, it's hard. It's really hard. Okay, so getting into Canada, you have to come up with your own work visa to go work. That's, come on.
It's not hard to go to Canada.
It's
You
not
just
okay.
need to get married to someone from.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let me find you a husband. I
If
wonder
you
how much
open
you
other
pay me to
side,
get him a
That's
searching
very,
for
very
husband.
Seriously, for Australia and Canada, you just need to go in pairs, apply, all of you who are building construction architects. It's very, very high score in getting the points to go and get this permit to live, and then you just stay there for 5 years and get the visa, and you usually come back to Serbia. The thing is
So you come back anyway.
Yeah, no, I just need to say something else. Like, I really understand totally, like, why people want to leave from here. It's really normal. We don't have a system. You don't have anything here that you can rely that your future is going to be as you planned, as you want it, or as you wishing. You apply to school because you want to be an architect or mechanical engineer or designer or whatever. But when you finish the school, you don't have a system who is going to give you the job. And that's something that we don't feel secure. And it's normal. I used to live in Finland, and that's a very, very systematic country. It's like when you apply to school, you are totally taken care. You know, when you say that you are in the University of Helsinki, every door is open. Everything that you want, it's to you. That doesn't happen when you are in Serbia, right? And most of us, most of the people, don't like this insecurity feeling. But the thing is, nothing is secure in life. Tomorrow the Trump can hit you and nothing else. But you cannot plan. I understand you. And it's really, really normal that people want to leave from here. But I think that some people need to stay here. Like, not because of the aging parents or like children or family or whatever. Like, also from that, but also from this feeling that maybe we should build the system. And I probably sound like really crazy person who lived around and get back here and everybody's like, what the fuck did you come back? Sorry.
Can we edit that out?
I'm sorry. Cut out this from the movies. You have to be.
Keep it in
sorry.
there. That's passion.
So yeah, that's like, it's very understandable from every point of view, but everybody needs to choose what he wants to do.
Okay.
That's like, you need to have a goal.
Very, very good. So now the other part, go ahead.
I must say that no matter how things are hard here, most of the people that I know that left the country for good left because of their personal reasons. And that's what it's all about. It's about personal stuff, like
I don't feel good. Exactly.
parents, friends, this, that, but it's personal. So
Oh, very good. Good
everybody
answer.
has their own story and their own
Exactly.
needs and their own wishes, whether they want to leave or stay. What are we supposed to,
Right.
what should we try to do is, if somebody wants to leave, okay, you have a chance. If
Yes.
you want to stay, okay, you have a chance to have a good life.
Yes.
To stay and have a good life. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
So
opinion.
now
Exactly.
where this is going to go is that for the grant money that we would get to build this, that is their point, is they want you to stay. They want us to build this up so you guys would stay. Getting international experience where, you know, here's another case scenario. You would actually work here in Serbia, get international experience, but guess what? They would still fly you to a country, like if you were working for a Saudi Arabian project, right? They wouldn't go through all the trouble to drag everybody over to Saudi Arabia. They would go meet like in Dubai, right? And they would have a little conference. So you would get out and see the world. You would see things that would be different. Now, who knows where Erbil is? Erbil? Yeah, E-R-B-I-L. Erbil. Erbil,
We don't
Kurdistan.
understand you.
It's in Kurdistan. Ever heard of it? You have.
Like a friend.
Okay. Guess what? That is going to be the next Dubai. And it's actually closer. Right? Isn't it? A little bit. Huh? It's cheaper. But there, what it is that it's Kurdistan actually is still part of Iraq, but it has all the oil. So they've got the money. And what they're doing is that they have this conference, in probably, I think in 10 days, this huge conference, and like at a big event. And what they're doing is they're going to display all the master plan projects that they have. They're doing not just roads, infrastructure, schools, hospitals. They got 17 hospitals, 19 schools, 4 universities they're building in the next 12 years.
So the time frame is 12 years. So it's a massive amount of work.
It's a massive, and in Qatar, 12-year project getting ready for the World Cup. Saudi Arabia, every one of the rail projects is geared for 8 to 12 years. You see, so there's a lot of work in this area. I always call it, you go there to loot the bank. You can go to Erbil and make your money and come back here. You can go to Saudi, you can work from here in Saudi Arabia and bring the money back here. So you don't have to deal with Serbia. You understand? You don't have to sit there and complain that there's no work. Say, my gosh, I mean, the government's corrupt, all those political things. You don't have to deal with that, but you still get the international experience.
And your parents next door.
And your parents next door. And your high school sweetheart. You know your high school sweetheart? Remember him? Everybody remembers. She broke my heart. That's why I remember. So do you understand? It's just that, I mean, I didn't even bring up Erbil. And I've got just as many connections there as I do in the Middle East. You see? So there's the opportunity is out there to go abroad. And you could, I mean, Erbil's going to be a lot easier to get in and out of. You don't have to have a special visa like Saudi Arabia. You don't have to have all the little highfalutin stuff that you need to go to all these Middle Eastern region countries. Right? So it's going to be easier to get in and out of. But what happens in Erbil is going to, you have to remember when there's a big project, there's a lot of sub-projects. You can't put a rail system through a city and not have these little infrastructure projects. So, for example, they're going to put a rail system through downtown, right through the middle of Riyadh. It's an established city. Part of it's going to be tunnel, part of it with little stations, and then they're going to have an above-ground bus system, metro system. So in Saudi Arabia, they go through and it's a kingdom. The kingdom waves its hand and everything happens. They don't have to go to Congress. They don't have to have permission. They go and start ripping everything up. Guess who has to clean up the mess in front of the businesses and the residences that they tear up? The businesses and the residents have to pay to tie into the new system. So you know how many people, you know how many designers are going to need for that? You know how, you understand? I mean, there's thousands and thousands. And I use this example, I think, Red, I used that with you, this example about the girl walking into a bar.
Girl walking in the bar? No.
Okay.
No.
The best thing that ever happened for me is to have an absolute knockout gorgeous girl walk into a bar. Because all the guys follow her, right? And that leaves all the other ones out here just for me. You understand? You don't understand?
No.
You don't understand?
Maybe I didn't listen from the beginning. I didn't get the point.
Okay, no, I'll do it one more time.
Sorry.
We're at a bar, and a beautiful girl walks in and stands over in this corner. All the men go around this beautiful girl and leave all the other beautiful women alone.
So the beautiful woman is Dubai and every other country.
No, the beautiful woman. Hey, very good. She's smart. That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but what it is that the beautiful girl here is the rail system. All the big money, all the big contractors are chasing that big money. And it's going to leave all these little side projects open for us. You see, one thing that I found that's important about success, and if anybody asks me, he goes, you know, you've had a pretty successful career. And he goes, what made you so successful? I said, doing the crap that nobody else wants to do. Right? And this could be a niche market that could be Serbians' ticket to a better world and a better life. You understand? Because if you guys start picking up those projects, it might seem like you're doing stuff that's beneath you, but you make more money on those per project than you would on a big project. And another thing is that you also get exposure. You get experience and exposure. The guy said, you know, listen, the guy, you know, they're tearing this up. They tear up the road going this way. This guy comes in and hires you to do the design work and you tie it in. And the guy said, wow, they did an excellent job. You know, the money was good. Neighbor tells neighbor tells neighbor. Before the rail system gets down here, your name has already been put down here and they already know who you are. You follow me? You see, so there's, I mean, the opportunity is endless. I mean, if I had any talent in the world is to see opportunity. If I had another talent was to be able to fit the puzzle together between this person and the project. This engineer and this architect and this project is to put the puzzle together. And that's what's going to happen. Is that we'll put this puzzle together and make sure that you guys get on stuff that's going to be valuable. Viable stuff that's going to not just enhance your career, but help us to make a living. I mean, how many people here would like to get married and have a family? How many people are already married? Okay.
How about not getting married?
How about not getting married and not having a family? There you go. Okay. So everybody's got different dreams, but I'll tell you what, do they change?
Of course.
They always change.
Of course.
All of a sudden, this nice girl over here just meets this guy that's just absolutely wonderful, and they want to have a family. Okay, he wants to stay in Serbia. She wants to leave. What would you do? Would you leave? See, that's a tough question. But just like you were saying earlier, is that everything changes. If you think it, you know, what's the definition of a project? There's two definitions. That there's a definite beginning and a definite end. That is the definition of what a project is. A definite beginning and a definite end. And the next description of a project is progressively elaborate. In other words, it molds and shapes and it bends and twists and it changes some more. And, right? Is life any different? Life is not different. It's all the same. So for us to be pliable, have our dreams, but be very pliable. You understand? So if you were getting something that was not exactly ideal for what your dream is, well, maybe that's all you need is just to get there to get to the next step. Right? Everything here is kind of a stepping stone. You go from high school into university, right? Right? What was your goal? When you were in college, this is a great question. When you were in college, you just had this burning desire to be an architect? Yeah. Right. Who had just that gut, right, to be an architect?
Not architect, designer.
Designer. Okay, how about you? You too? Okay. And again, civil engineers are a little different.
No, we are not different.
But I call it the fire in the belly. You know, you just really have to have that passion. Yeah. Okay. And here's another question I'm gonna lay, and if we get some of these answers, you're more than welcome to write them down. Is that I want everybody to give me an idea of who their hero was. You have one, don't you? Your architectural hero.
Yes.
Who is it?
It's Norman Foster.
Okay, very good. Who was yours?
I didn't have it.
You don't have one. Okay.
I'm designing Gaudi.
Very good. Okay. So.
Gaudi.
Okay. So now let me ask you something. Now, is that important for me to ask? It certainly is. Because if you don't have that drive and you don't have that fire in your gut, then you're kind of like a cork in the ocean. You're just going to kind of go here, go there. But that is so important in your placement in a career. You know, one of the things that I ask, I'm interviewing. I mean, I've interviewed thousands of people. One of the things that I always ask a superintendent or a project manager is what was the biggest mistake they ever made, and I want them to be honest, and how did they fix it? And you would be surprised how many people will just say, oh, I've never made a mistake, right? I said, then I don't want to hire you because you're lying through your teeth, for one. For two, if you don't know how to identify a mistake, then you can't solve it. Very good answer. Okay, but for you to be placed in the right place, right? You need to have that passion. You need to know that you're in an industry that is, you're just, are you leaving us?
No, I'm coming back.
Okay, very good. All right, we'll wait. But that is so important in your internship. You know, another question I ask is, what company would you like to work for? Right? What big company? I mean, to me, it would have been probably CH2M Hill. I mean, they've got an extremely good reputation, a very, very good method about how they work. Right? They have this whole methodology about how they work. And it's all about client satisfaction, and it's all about fairness and education. When you get hired by CH2M Hill, you go through a 6-week orientation. 6 weeks. They just don't throw you to the wolves. They want you to understand the system. They want to understand totally what your position and what your job description is. But guess what else they do? They give you not 1, not 2, they give you 3 mentors that are assigned to you. You're not an intern. You're not a student working for the summer. You are a full-time employee that has a mentor that they give you. Okay? And why would they do that?
To shape you properly,
Well, and what else?
so that you can explore him better.
Right. Exploration. When somebody walks in, are they 100%? Are they everything that company wants? No. So, just like the river rafting example, what are their weaknesses? I don't care what your weaknesses are, but I don't care what your strengths are. I just need to know them, right? So you exploit their strengths and you strengthen their weaknesses, but you don't know what those are unless your mentor tells you. That's why a mentorship is so important. So you find that person. I challenge everybody in this room to go find a company and a mentor within that company, and I can get you into that company with those 2 things. You understand? Because I guess, I mean, am I wrong here? Is you have a mentor here? No. Who has a mentor?
I don't think we have mentors.
I mean, just a personal mentor.
Nobody has the talent
Okay.
to be a mentor.
Exactly. She hit it right. You're so smart. Are you an engineer? You're a designer. Oh, yeah. Okay. But the thing is that they don't take the time. Well, we'll get you a Mentor International. My mentor has 6 people. That's his limit. I have 6 people. That's my limit. Now, when you ask somebody to be your mentor, guess what? What's the first thing they should do? So, here, ask me to be your mentor.
No, will you be my mentor?
Yes, I will. Here is a list of all the books I want you to read, and I want you to report back to me after you finish each one what you got out of it. So who's doing the work? Right. Who should be doing the work? You see, that's what a mentor does. The mentor will challenge you because I'm successful in this way, and the reason I'm successful is because I read these things. Or I experienced these things. One thing that my son brought up the other day, it's just absolutely wonderful. What are you doing between jobs? So you're working now, right? You're in school?
I'm a student.
You're a professor, aren't you?
No, I'm a student.
Oh, you're a student, okay. So if you are working on a job and your job ends, what do? You start looking for another one? You start looking for another one, or you've been looking for another one already? Okay. So in between jobs, from, let's say this month is September, right? Let's say the job ended today. Your next job, theoretically, is going to start the 1st of November. Okay. What kills people on their CVs is this gap. So what do you do to fill that gap?
Learn.
Huh?
Learn.
Right. Yeah. What else? You volunteer.
That's hard.
Okay, now listen. Now listen. Okay, volunteer or work on a project volunteer. You can go you can go to UNICEF and sign up and work on a project. Because you know what looks really good? is humanitarian. Anything that you are doing to help somebody that looks so good on your resume. It's not me, 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 me. I'm so freaking selfish. I'm so full of myself. It's all about me. Me, 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 me. Okay? If you go, I work here, but then I spent some time volunteering online for UNICEF. I came down here and I worked like when I resigned from my job in Saudi Arabia, I went to work at the refugee camp in Jordan for the Syrian. I did that for 2 weeks. Okay? Guess what I do? I put that on my CV. I put it down as a special project. I worked on these things. I put down the orphanage. I put down all these things. They want to see that the person that they're hiring has got a full character.
Well, that's the thing. Here in Serbia, you cannot be sure that you're going to get a job in November. So it changes a lot. If you had a job and it ended today, you're not sure that your next job is going to be in November. It could be in November, it could be in November next year.
Okay.
So you cannot plan to do something else, to volunteer. Maybe you can volunteer from here or something in Serbia, but you cannot plan to go somewhere else because you need to be busy trying to get a new job.
Right. But in the meantime, you can just do it I mean, I did that thing for UNICEF, right? I did that thing for UNICEF. I just did it online, and I pledged that I'd give them 10 hours a week.
Well, if it's online, then sure.
It's online, and but the thing is that sometimes it's just maybe doing like research for them.
There is no meantime.
There's no what?
There is no meantime because when you finish your work, you start looking for another project, work, whatever, and you'll probably be doing that until the point you start working.
Right, but you're not doing that
24 hours.
24 hours a day.
Yeah.
The point. Listen, the point is that the bottom line is you got to get a job, but the other part of it is how do you fill that in? You don't. I mean, the employer does not want to see that you just spend all that time looking for a job. You say, well, I volunteered at so and so. They don't need to know the details, right? You could do it for 1 hour a week, but you need to be able to fill in that time with something positive. And in this day, here's an example. This is another good reason why we're doing this. Ladies and gentlemen. He's the last man standing, right? But in Saudi Arabia, they are actually making it a requirement that your design teams have a percentage of kids under 30. Why? Why would they do that? Huh? Well, that's how you build up your future designers.
Yeah.
You understand?
The experience.
Right.
You're molding them.
Right. So now, aren't we a good candidate for that?
We're under 30. So we are
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm 26.
Oh.
Do I look that old?
No, I know. I thought you looked at like 18. I didn't know you were out of school yet. But you understand is that you have youth, which is to your advantage, but you have to exploit it. You have to exploit it. You have to get this grant money. We need to go find those jobs that will cater to people that are in your position, right? But again, they want to see a well-rounded individual. Good profile isn't me, 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 me. I did this. I worked on this project. Here's my portfolio. What gets them is the well-rounded. To get into med school in the United States, how many people here have friends that are in med school? Okay? In the United States, I'll use that because that's where I'm from. For you to get into med school, you have to have a certain percentage of your time either in athletics or music or volunteer. They want a well-shaped and a well-rounded individual. They just don't want a geek that has been pumping out 4.0 grade point average his entire life. Because what happens? They're like robots. They want somebody that understands this and understands that. They want to have a well-rounded person. It's the same thing. These employers are not stupid. They're looking not just for your skill, but they're looking for the well-rounded. So the volunteer work is an idea of what that well-rounded means. I understand 100% what you were saying as far as, you work and work and work to get in your next job. but you need to tie into something that's going to look good while you are. I was looking, looking for a job. Here's a great question. When is the best time to look for work? While you still have a job. So according to an employer that sees that you were doing volunteer work, you were working, right? Right. And so what did I offered this to Sasha. He's been helping me on this project. So we're going to put that on his LinkedIn profile, right? Is that going to look better? He's.
Diversity.
What's that?
Diversity.
Yeah. Right. It shows that. Yeah, way to go, Sasha. But you see what I'm saying is that you could volunteer for this, right? You can do certain things. Natasha here is helping me a lot. So she's actually like I call it boots on the ground person here in Serbia. Giovanna is another one. She wasn't able to make it today, but she's another one. And they were the first two people that I connected with here in Serbia that actually asked me for help, right? They actually asked me for help, and I said, sure, I can do this. And that's when it all started. It's all their fault, right? But there's going to be other people that I will need to hire on a political level, and he'll be a part of that. But there's also going to be opportunities to volunteer. You can use this on your resume as part of that volunteer work. You understand? You're not doing anything different than you already are. If you were networking, if you were to bring a couple of people, like you brought this nice gentleman, right? You guys came together?
Yeah.
Right? Right? That other guy came in. I just met him in the lobby. He brought 4 people, and they're all men too. That blew my mind. And they all left, bastards. Anyway, they come over here, but they showed up. Right? They showed up. And do you think they were skeptical?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Do you think I'm skeptical?
Yeah.
Do you think I am?
You're not talking.
No. No. Let me tell you something about fear. It's normal. It's how you deal with it. It either gives you a step above or a step behind. Yeah, I'll use this as an example. A guy sitting in an airplane, he's going to parachute out. He's got a parachute on. Do you think he's nervous?
He's panicking probably.
Right? Do you think he's nervous?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he's depending on this adrenaline.
Right. Right.
I would like to do that.
Right. Do you think you ever heard of bungee jumping?
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
Right. Do you think that guy's the person does it for the very first time and they're standing on the edge of the bridge and they're ready to, do you think they're scared?
Yeah.
Right. But what do?
They jump.
They jump anyway.
Jump the fear off.
You jump anyway. And I'll challenge every one of you in this room to, no matter how skeptical you are, is that this is all going to happen with or without you. We would love to have you be here, but it's all going to happen anyway. So either if you can be as skeptical as you want, but it's all going to happen anyway. You can be as scared as you want, but just keep showing up. Just keep showing up until it starts making sense. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm scared to death sitting next to her thinking I'm going to say something wrong. She's going to pop me in the head. I'm shaking. Would you do that? Maybe, there you go. But you see, what fear does is it puts you right in front of yourself. You understand what that means? It puts you right here when you get scared. When you get skeptical of something, it puts you right here. Why are you skeptical? Well, this happened to me. Wah, wah, wah. All this and that. You can go through victim world all you want. But you know something? Fear is good as long as it's managed. Okay? If you are scared, I'm scared half out of my mind. But I still get up and do this. You understand? What fear does is it makes your senses more aware. Is that true? It makes you very, very, it's a fight or flight. You've heard of that. Fight or flight. It's an animal instinct. Either you're going to fight like a tiger or you're going to run like a chicken. It's natural. But what that does is all it does is just makes you more aware. It makes you more in tune to the moment. So if you're scared or you're skeptical, that's a good thing. Just manage it. One thing, I'll tell you that was the biggest surprise is how everybody's skeptical here. Yeah, everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's got this chip on their, like, okay, what's this guy want now? You know, in Saudi Arabia, it's exactly the same way. They're just nicer about it. But here's the thing. I will never, ever say it's going to be easy. I'll only tell you that it's going to be worth it. Fair enough? Yeah, see, here we go. Is that right? Right? Have you guys had enough? Yeah, we had. So we're already an hour over. So anybody else have any? I mean, we're supposed to have an open discussion, and I kind of stepped in and took over because I don't know, it just kind of my nature. But anybody else have any questions? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, and it's a really interesting project. Hopefully we'll get something in our emails.
Yes, yeah. Everybody's going to keep receiving things, and we'll give you updates. The website is up right now. You just go there and look at it. I want as much feedback as I can get. You know, I want you to say no. That I mean, Natasha, you remember the feedback you gave me this morning? My son changed his photograph. He looks like a terrorist. Isn't that right? She's covering her face. And I said, I know he looks like a terrorist. He knows he looks like it. He can't help it, you know. But that's the feedback that we want because, you know, you want to keep your audience. You want to keep people feeling safe and engaged. So the main thing is that you're going to keep getting information. The other thing I would like to ask is start bringing more people into it. Right? Just start, tell a friend. I mean, what's a couple of emails to be sent out and just for them to read. And mind you, we'll be back. We're going to do this again. It's all going to look different because we're going to, hopefully we'll have some funding lined up. Then we can actually start making things a little bit more real for everybody, which is exactly what we should have, right? When you can see it, feel it, and kick the tires, and you know it works and you know it runs, you'll participate. Thank you so much for everything. I expected more applause.
That's enough.
That's enough. Yeah, they're too tired. So you guys sat here for like 2.5 hours.